This is Joyce Pellino-Crane, Westford Cats News Director, and I am here today with Christine Berthold, who is, and I have to read this, Christine, so that I get this right, Chairman of the Education and Community Outreach Committee of the Westford Agricultural Commission.
Perfect.
So, Christine, we're here today to talk about community garden. And is it garden or gardens? We've wondered that a lot over the past 3 years since it began.
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's one garden that brings many gardeners together.
Okay, so one garden that brings many gardeners together. There's another season coming up, even though today is January 20th as we record this. But spring is coming, thank goodness. And I have a couple of questions for you.
Great.
So why are the community gardens important?
Why are the community gardens important? That's a good question. So in a community like Westford, when there is so much land, it's a fair question to say, why do we need this here? And I think until you've been to the community garden, it's really hard to appreciate just how special it is and what it really offers to our community. There's very few programs in Westford that bring together sort of people of different generations and cultures and heritages and has everyone working together around this shared love of something so basic to human interest as food. It's really just a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. So in the garden, so we're heading into the third season now. And in the garden to my right, there's a gentleman who came to America from India, and he plants, crops that are traditional for him and are very important to his culture and his family celebrations and his diet and everything that he was brought up with.
So
and he teaches me about that.
To your right, meaning you have a plot as well.
I have a plot in the garden, yes.
So, and how big are the plots?
Oh, that's a good question. So there's, the basic plot is 15 by 15 feet. Okay, so you have the opportunity to lease a 15 by 15 plot, a 30 by 15 plot, or a 30 by 30 plot.
What are the prices for those?
Right, so for a 15 by 15 plot, it is $25 for the season, $50 for the twice that amount, and $100 for the 30 by 30 plot.
Okay, and so that I don't forget before the end of this interview, how do people get in, who do they get in touch with to rent a plot?
Of course, and so I would encourage people to do that as soon as possible because the registration period is open. Half the plots are already spoken for, so you'd want to go to the Westford Town website, look for the Agricultural Commission, and the application form is there.
Okay, and the Westford Town website is westfordma.gov.
Correct.
Excuse me. Tell me a little bit about who runs Community Garden.
Right. So the garden was started by the Agricultural Commission, which was reinvigorated several years ago. And when we reinvigorated the commission, we went out to at the town retreat, and we polled people. We asked people what they would like to see our priorities. How would they wanted us to prioritize our time. And the number one request was for a community garden. And so we got to work finding space. We investigated every possible parcel that we might be able to access and started the community garden. The intent of it was always that it would be a garden that was for the people and by the people. And so it is very much resident run. So it is overseen by the Agricultural Commission, but it is run by gardeners who take on a variety of different roles to manage the garden successfully over the course of the season.
And you were telling me before that some people who don't even have plots are involved in helping with the
It's a beautiful thing, right?
management
People just feel so good about this initiative that there are people who volunteer their time that don't even have a plot in the garden. Maybe they're bringing their expertise in management or in agricultural skills or whatever it may be, and donating them to the cause.
So you started off with 1 acre, and now you're up to 2 acres.
Correct.
You have an extra acre this year, which is why there are more plots.
Correct.
And there are bids coming in for putting up fencing for that additional acre. Do I understand that correctly?
Right. So, so we started in the first season with about 90 plots. Last year we extended that by just changing the footprint a little bit and really maximizing every square foot of the usable land there, and we got to 106 plots. This year we're actually extending the parcel, doubling it. So where we had 106 plots last year, we'll have over 200 plots this year. So we're able to accommodate the wait list that we've had over the last couple of years to invite more gardeners to join us. So that's a wonderful thing. With regard to the fencing, if you've been to Dayfield, you know that there's lots of wildlife in that area. So we do have deer fencing and other animal protection fencing that encircles the garden completely. And that's really important. A lot of people choose to have a plot at the community garden because they have too many animals in their backyard to successfully have a garden. So our deer fencing is 7 feet. And you know, a lot of people in their backyards couldn't justify putting that kind of fencing around just their own personal private garden.
Of course.
Increasing the garden does require a couple of infrastructure investments. The Community Preservation Committee has approved our request for funding for a well that up to this point we have.
Let's talk about water. Because,
okay, let's talk about water.
So first of all, you've got water there for the gardeners, and you're adding a well as well, correct?
Right. So we've kind of used a fairly temporary solution from the beginning of the garden. There was not an existing well on the agricultural parcel. We have been using water storage tanks and drawing water from the hydrant. So it is, part of the municipal water supply. And that's been fine for the small parcel that we've been on. However, now that we are expanding the garden, we're going to need more water, and drilling a well is a much better solution long term.
And the town has bids, you said?
Correct. So we went out to bid with this, and on Tuesday, town leadership will be looking at the bids that have come in to choose a vendor for the well installation.
Great. And so for people who are less mobile, are there plots that are sort of more accessible for them?
That's a good question. So our parcel will be doubled, and that does extend the distance of some of the plots from the existing parking lot. So our plan is to assess needs as gardeners have them, and assign plots as needed if people have mobility issues, so that they're closer to the parking lot. But there's a lot of helpfulness in the garden. For instance, one of my neighbors who has a adjacent plot, is a lady older than myself, and my son helped her last summer to weed her plot.
That's great.
Because he was little and could easily do that for her, and then she would go bake treats out of what she grew and then give them to him. So it's just kind of a nice thing. Here's an example. I would never know her. Where would I meet her if not in the community garden? This lovely, lovely woman lives, a quarter mile from me, but I'm not sure that I ever would have met her if not for the community garden. So it's really a nice opportunity to develop friendships that might not otherwise be formed over something just so genuine as a love for food. It's just a beautiful thing.
The locus of the town.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Exactly.
You've done a wonderful job.
Well, thank you.
Bringing people together.
So many people. I have to say, this is an effort that has taken a lot of work, but the load has been light by so many people contributing their talent and time.
Well, Christine, thank you so much for sharing your talent and time with us today.
Thank you.
And for Westford Cat News, this is Joyce Pellino-Crane.